Welcome to FL with LS. I've been mainly doing CL videos, but the only one that anyone's commented on is the FL video, so I guess you guys want more FL. I can try to do that. I'm terrible at FL, and I keep thinking it's CL when I watch it, but what are you gonna do? I think this is Nickley Q, or however he says himself, Nick, versus Hellsgate. Yep. This is probably not gonna be too much of a contest. Not only is Sword obviously inferior to Spear on this patch, but Nick Q is... I gotta just call him Nick, because Nick... Yeah, Nick is one of the highest might players on the server, and Hellsgate is not. And Nick is tier 0, or in first grade as it says up here, and Hellsgate is only in kindergarten. So this probably isn't going to last too long, but it's the only tier 0 playing. Neither player has a monk, both have Roro and Patriot, and Empress actually. The Empress isn't really that standard anymore. But both have it, and Nick looks like he's going for like a line break type formation with the Taoist and the Empress. Going to be doing a lot of spiking on the front as he tried there. I don't understand why that Druid was in the front at all. Should have just had it there to begin with, because that, unless he was trying to encourage that, but I think Nick would have done that anyway, honestly, even on the Valk. Anyway, looks like Hellsgate's going for a Hellflame build with the Shaman here. That's the only reason to have a Shaman. Some people do Noble Sacrifice, but it's really not worth the time. So yeah, that Shaman is just for Hellflame with the main, and that's why Nick is doing this weird HG pattern to force the Hellflame to go down here if it goes down anywhere, and it is going to go down. No Dusk Elegy first. I would have liked to see a Dusk Elegy before that. Purification Scroll. Yeah, that's a good choice, because Nick was probably going to Force Prison the front this turn, and yeah, probably do that old spear thing with the Force Prison in the front and Flame Spear in the middle, and now add in the Taoist to seal the middle. And now he can't really do that because he needs 2 activations unless he's very lucky to cancel that. So, probably just gonna, yeah, I was about to say, he's probably just gonna spike and either leave the scroll alone, or, yeah, just leave the scroll alone, I guess. This is for damage, this is for stun pressure, I guess? Maybe? I don't know why he just shot that side. That was weird. It didn't cancel the scroll, and the scroll... He didn't want to cancel the scroll. Anyway, leaving the Hellflame on the Patriot so it goes into Patriotic Resolve, I actually really like that. That's a good choice from Nick. Hellsgate should not have done that back there. He should have done the Hellflame on the 2 melees, even though they have healing passives. Or, yeah, just healing passive, I guess. The Patriot's passive heals everyone. Weapon Rend. Gonna do a weapon... No? Okay, now he's going for the seal. I don't think the Druid has AP, though. So it's just going to be the Vital Seal in the middle. Okay. No, it doesn't have counters. Yeah, well, either way, he can't do the Force Prison. Spiking that Shaman pretty relentlessly. Nick is... either sees that as a weak point, or... Actually, he may just be trying to kill the Druid. But in any case, the Shaman kind of is a weak point. Is it rented? Yeah, it's rented. So it's in... has the potential to be in good gear. I don't see what staff it has. Yeah, so it's about as strong as a Shaman can be, but it's first... Yeah, I mean, it's still a weak point. But I think that's primarily to just go for the Druid, because that's what... spears in general, and Nick in particular, tend to do, is just kill the Druid, because it is a weak point, and I don't understand why the Druid keeps being in the front here. The Valk is a much better tank. And, you know, you can encourage that to a point, try to get the player to waste activations trying a spike, but Druids aren't that easy to heal. I mean, that's part of why people spike them. So... Looks like he's going for the line break there. Might get it. No? Really? Okay. He can just switch the champion and the Druid and heal that entire line, but that would leave the Druid without much AP, so I would probably... I don't know. Yeah, he doesn't move, he just heals the Druid, so he's going to lose that Patriot next turn before it even goes into Resolve, and then get the back silenced. So Roto should probably Blessing the back to get the... No? Okay. Yeah, I mean, it would have been gone in one turn anyway, so... I guess the Empress can still Blessing the back after it's silenced, so he doesn't really need to do that. See, I'm pretty bad at FL, guys. I don't think we can have a Weapon Rend yet. I think it's still on cooldown, but if we can, this would be... well... No, probably not going to see that. Yeah, just go for the Druid again. And looks like Nick has this pretty handily. With that stun on the Empress, I didn't realize that was on combo 2, and apparently neither did Hellflamesgate, because that was his key to getting this off. Stimulanting it. Not going to help. He can force Prison now. He can chain the Patriot. That's good. That's what he should be doing, but it's not going to be nearly enough, because now Nick can force Prison and kill the Shaman. Actually, there's no real reason to kill the Shaman. He should kill the Empress. Because what's the Shaman going to do? Heal the back by like 10%? To do any damage, it needs the main, and the main's not going to get an activation without Holy Guard. So if he kills the Empress, which he just did with DOT, I think, yeah, there's no passive on it, so that's going to die. Just killing the Druid and also making sure that the Empress is dead. DOT has, of course, kicked in. That's what all this is. Vampire at full health, so was there a Dusk Elder? Maybe it's just been attacking? I don't know. And all of Nick's skills are probably maxed, so that Vampire can heal itself by just physically attacking, whereas most people's really can't, because people don't put money into that. At least I don't. I think mine's at base. And I'm bothering to do this because the match is completely over. Nick has absolutely won. Yeah, Dusk Elegy and Vampiric Thirst at 1. You can tell I don't do FL, guys. I probably will. I keep saying I will do it on the Atlantis patch. So, that's where my next, like, 20 billion's gonna go into leveling all those skills that I never bothered to level. Flame Sword, that's good. That's the first Flame Sword we've seen this match, I think. Was waiting for Hellflame, and that Patriot has been in Resolve like the entire battle because of that initial Hellflame spike, failed Hellflame spike, and it hasn't really made a difference because, like I said, I don't think Hellflamesgate really had much of a chance against Nick to begin with, but that was definitely a mistake to have your first damage be on the one merc that wants to be damaged. Yeah, he should have done it on the two melees that were here, the champion and the Valk, and then used opportunities later on to flame sword them. Almost said flame spear. That's not what he wants to do. Well, he may have wanted to do that, but he can't. Looks like this is almost over. Let's look at Nihilist or Nihilist. I've never known how to say that. I'll say Nihilist because I think I heard someone say that once. I know Nihilist. Nihilist is a pretty good player. He's very low tech. I think he uses like an artilleryman or something. No, it's a an inventor that he uses, and a minstrel. Oracle instead of a vampire. I can't remember anything's name today. But yeah, he's been Div 1 on and off since like the mid-high 130s with this weird low-tech form, so he's pretty good. I don't know Dita Von Teese. Dita Von Teese is Saw in the back, tanking with the puppet. I'm going to assume that that main switched with the puppet, because that's just weird. Yeah, Dita Von Teese wins on time, and would have won anyway, just as a matter of health. What did I say? Hurry? Okay, apparently Dita Von Teese was letting Nihilist loot. Go away, Jay. You don't have this. Okay, waiting for the next match. Probably gonna be Nick versus a Doppel, so we'll probably watch Nihilist. Okay, no, Nick is fighting Didavantes, so that's gonna be a good match. Nihilist fighting Hellsgate, that could also be good. I would... That's much closer than Nick versus Hellsgate. In fact, I think we are going to watch that one, because Nick is going to stomp Didavantes the same way he stomped Hellsgate. I would assume. Well, like I said, he has one of the highest mites on the server, and does grand every week and gets pretty far, so I would be kind of surprised if that random 145 I'd never heard of beat Nick. But these guys should be fairly evenly matched. Hellsgate obviously has a level and tech advantage, and probably a gear advantage as well. As I've said many times on these, and I should probably just make an alt just to use the free patrol on these guys and observe with that instead. But I don't have patrols, so I can't tell what their actual mites are. Skipping the activation on the Oracle, I would have just attacked the Druid with that, because you have an Exorcist, and you're not going to want to heal for a while. Doesn't matter at all, but yeah, I would have just started pressuring that. Actually, there's a Patriot, so it doesn't matter, because that little bit of damage would be healed off immediately. Nihilist with the machine summon and the stun pressure on the middle, camaraderie on the well, I would have liked to actually see that on the middle, but I can understand why he did that, because that means that the Roro is going to blessing the middle line, because that's where most of the stun pressure is, and that'll only leave him with the main, which doesn't really care if it's stunned, because it's a sword main. But he does have the Exorcist over here, so if the Cannoneer has an activation, he can seal the Roro and get the stun. Okay, no, but there's a scroll. Yep, so he's got to cancel the scroll, and he's getting all combo 1 because he got Warcried. It's actually a good use of Warcry. Hellsgate. Yeah, I was using the cannon type summon. Siege Engine. Yeah, I always used the gun type one that hits a line, and that's what Sharingan used when he was gun main for about a week there. As soon as mains got merc skills, he was gun main with machine summon, and that's what he used. So I don't think I've ever seen someone in high level PvP. Well, I'm sure I ever have, because inventors used to be very common, but not for a long time. I haven't seen the cannon type summon for a while. I've preferred the line, or the gun type one that hit in a column, even with the old Awakening system, and with the new Awakening system, I really prefer that one. So I would change that on Nihilist form. Hellflame going down there on the Exorcist and the Minstrel. It's an interesting choice. I guess he didn't want to hit a staff. I would have done the Druid and the Cannoneer, though, because the Druid's MDef is so low. That can just be, yeah, purified away. But, yeah, switch because you don't have Dawn Harmony. Nihilist struggling to do any damage. And the continual awakening on the Neo Awakening things, the Blessing and Camaraderie, is making it harder to tell what kind of progress he's making as far as stun. Warcry going down again, because makes it harder to tell what progress he's making as far as stun, because it removes a counter every turn, so you can't really tell what counter they're actually on unless you keep track of the duration of the skills as well. So you know, I can't imagine that I almost called him Hell's Flame, that Hellsgate would really be able to avoid stun against this type of dedicated stun formation with an Exorcist and with a spear main. without a monk and without any traditional awakening. But he has this scroll again, and he's got Warcry, so that may not even cancel it. Yeah, it didn't even cancel it. So maybe he will. I hate not being able to see the time, and that's one of the reasons I prefer to do CL in these videos, because the time is more relevant in FL because you have to know when the DOT kicks in. But yeah, Nihilist might be in trouble here because he's just not getting any stun, and he keeps losing all of his stun pressure because he can't cancel those scrolls. And very soon now, like this turn, he's going to start losing mercs, even without much reach from Hellsgate. So, you know, I said that this would be closer than Nick versus Dita Von Teese, and maybe it wasn't, because this has not been very close. This has just been kind of a walkover. Really makes me question the power of stun in this new metagame. I'm not sure what could have been done too differently from Nihilist. Just seems like he's kind of getting overpowered here. That's your chance, yeah, for Seal. I think that's the best chance he's gonna get. Flame Spear on the side probably to get the Patriot, I would think. No, on the middle, okay. Just making sure the road. I would have liked to see it on the Patriot, because you don't want the camaraderie, is what you don't want. And now he can hit the back and start trying to snipe the back, I guess. But Hellsgate can actually use that Shaman to heal the back. You know, not extremely effectively, but better than other people can heal the back, because it does have horizontal healing. So that I don't really think Nihilist is going to get too far with that. Actually, the Shaman is stunned, but it doesn't matter because the Roro can blessing the middle. It'll probably blessing the front though instead. Although I think I would prefer to see a blessing on the middle actually, because the front's fine with the front it is, and Chaos Edge. Okay, yeah, that was a good choice. I like that. That was the most damage you could do with one activation. Maybe would have liked to see the Patriot attack instead, but that was fine too. Guard Dispel. I don't know what the point of that was. Was he trying to get a counter there? Didn't want the other counter removed by blessing? He doesn't have any. He's not casting anything on the front. DC or lag? What are you talking about, Nihilist? Yeah, what's he talking about, Hellsgate? What does that emote mean? I hate these stupid Acong things. What do they mean? Where is it? Is it on the second page? Yay. Is that what he said? I don't know what the hell's going on. Question. Yeah, okay. Yeah, what are you talking about, Nihilist? Nick and Dita Von Teese still going. Hellsgate won that. Of course, I didn't comment on it, but Nihilist had no mercs left. That was... I think I said in a previous video that Hellsgate should use Hellflame, and he did, and it's been going pretty well. Nick, are you getting almost spiked by Dita Von Teese? What is going on here? Well, it's not going to matter because time's about to run out, or just the game's about to end because Nick is just killing everything because the tanks are dead, except for the main, which is in the back. Again, makes me think it actually does start in the back, which is ridiculous. But, yeah, I don't know what happened in this match, but somehow Nick took a ton of damage, probably just left his main on the front, and Diamantiste used every activation for a turn to go after it. Tried to spike, didn't work. I'm sure Nick has like plus 10 boots or whatever, you know, just plus 10 everything. Diamantiste is probably going to loot the Druid there, and then maybe try to kill the Taoist too. Just loot. Don't try to be a hero. Come on, go for the Wrath Eater. There you go. No, that's not looting. Alright, whatever. Well, you missed your chance at Wrath Eater. Yeah, Nick loots. See? Nick knows what's going on. Let's see. Okay, next ones haven't popped up yet. I guess we'll do a skirmish. I'm gonna have to start doing these videos with my character somewhere else, so I have something different to talk about between matches, because I've already talked about this skirmish. I guess I can talk about why I don't go to other places. I really don't see the point. I mean, they have the same drops and they're not skirmish, so have to pay more attention, and the Minotaur statue doesn't do anything. And yeah, I mean, it's not that it doesn't work in the original battle system, but it just doesn't do as much damage for whatever reason. I don't know if its stats are different in skirmish or if these guys just have really low MDef. I think Ren's magic is broken. I think you're probably right. Too bad Ren sucks. So it kind of makes up for it. 2 tier 0s. I think we're kind of obligated to watch that one. Crackle versus Liaki. Pretty sure that's AB. But, yeah. Nick versus Agarth. Nick is obviously who we've seen twice now. Agarth, I really don't know who that is. I think he's Spear. Yeah, both Spear. Okay, so here's Agarth over here, and there's Nick over there. Agarth with kind of a weird form with the Puppeteer and Exorcist. Can never remember what it's actually called. With the Exorcist. Tanking with the window and AFKing? No? Okay. I would not have done that, because you're gonna want your APs for APs. You're gonna want your AP for blessings. And there is a Patriot, so that Druid is just gonna heal that right off unless you immediately start spiking it, which you probably will, actually, even though it's guarding. Yeah, I would not immediately start spiking after that. I'd like debuff with the Molindo. Okay, there he goes. Yeah, don't immediately start spiking. Do something else. I don't know what else you should do. Is that just for guarding? Okay, no, there was combo 2 on that. Yeah, that's a good choice then. Okay, just immediately spiking the Druid. I guess that's what FL is these days, just constant Druid spike. And again, with the Druid on the front row when there is a Valk, I really don't know why people do that. Can you really comfortably heal the Druid once you move it to the back row if you do it this early in the match? I would think it would just kind of leave a hole there, because especially if you do Beast Soul like that, it can't guard for a long time, so they can just hit it on the midline. Like, I guess they have to go through the champion, but like the Vampire or the Patriot can pressure that line. Yeah, I don't really like that. I would just start with this front, but it seems to work okay for people. I mean, I guess we'll see. I don't know Agarth, but he is tier 0. So this will probably be closer than the last few matches. Combo 2 on, I think, those two, so that will go down to 1, and this whole line will be at combo 2. I don't know why he's trying to kill this instead of the Molindo. I guess because the Molindo is easier to heal, but And that was just for stun pressure, I think. So he's trying to force something on the middle here, either a blessing or a camaraderie. Which is strange because he would want to. Well, it's strange if he was trying to force a blessing because he wants to flame spear. If he was trying to force a camaraderie, I guess that kind of makes sense because that would make the flame spear do more damage, but not really that much. Can I see flame spear here? No, people never use flame spear anymore. It's all just whatever that the Taoist passive is. And we'll just blessing the front here probably. He might blessing the middle, but. Okay, yeah, he does blessing the middle, moves the Druid back to the front to get a good cross against Flame Spear if it does come. Stun on the Puppeteer, but he has no way to cancel that scroll, so that just costs it that turn's AP, which it may actually feel the lack of if he was trying to get Empowering Control for the Taoist. I don't know how much Empowering Control heals in FL. I guess we're about to see. Yeah. Okay, so a good bit still. That was about as much as it would have healed in CL. Maybe a little bit less, but a good bit. Flame Sphere on the side there. Yeah. Against the Valkyrie and the Patriot. That Valk's not going to have AP for a while. After that move and the Forest Prison and then the move and then the Flame Spear. And Agarth can go back to spiking the Druid now, like every Spear main really wants to do. Druid spike, Weapon Rend on the Druid. Everybody hates Druids. Probably gonna see Dawn Harmony on the Druid. Faith, is that the Druid? No? Okay, Faith is her, so it was on the Druid. Awakening Scroll. These guys are saving their Awakening Scrolls a long time. You used to see them used like the first 2 turns that they possibly could, but they've both been kind of conservative with them. That seal is... I really don't know what the seals are for anymore. I guess he was going to use Blessing this turn. He probably was, since it has AP, and there's just, you know, if you have stun counters on something, might as well Blessing it, especially against a Spear main, because he can't Flame Spear that or Vital Seal it if it's blessed. But killing the Druid, they're probably going to move the Taoist front and heal again with the Vampire if he can. Maybe Empowering Control the Vampire and heal with it. Yeah. There he goes. I doubt he's going to heal that Druid and leave it front. He may heal it and then move it. I would do the move and then heal it. Yeah, okay. Gonna tank with the Vampire. That's fine. That would be terrible in CL, but range can tank a little bit better in FL. Especially the Vampire. But usually... well, no, that's more CL. People put Dusk Elegy down before they tank with the Vampire. But yeah, that's going to be fine for now in FL. And now that Vamp is front, Nick is probably going to... Well, no, he in the abstract, he would switch to the window, I think. But because the Vamp is low on AP and because the Druid is behind it, he's still going to pressure this side. Probably just attack with the main again, yep. And I would say Nick is in a very good position now because the Druid is in trouble, the Vamp is in trouble, this line is in trouble, this column. And you know, Nick's danced all around and has low health, 2 tanks, but he's just in a better position. Has more health left overall, and it's better distributed. If there was... Yeah, and the Taoist wants to attack, but it can't because it's under Vital Seal. Gonna tank with the Exorcist. I like that choice. He probably should have done that sooner, actually, since that Exorcist well, it did seal, so it has been doing something, but Exorcists usually have surplus AP. And they're not that great tanks, but, you know, they're better than a Vampire. So maybe I would have liked to see the Exorcist front instead of the Vampire there. Gonna lose the Druid now and the Vampire, and remaining activations will probably either be just like go for a proc on the okay, no, Flame Spear. That's I don't know if that's gonna do anything. Did he lose activations? Yes, okay, he did. He did lose activations. Apparently, that was just what Nick needed to stop these two activations from Agarth. So good choice from Nick to Flame Spear there. This could still be anyone's game, because that Druid's not going to live much longer, and then they would be even on kills with Agarth in the lead in terms of score. That Forest Prison is only going to cost 1 activation, because he has 4 back here, and he can empower and control whatever he wants in the front. Probably the Window, unless the main has AP for Flame Spear. Oh, it actually cost him a lot of activations, because these two did not have AP. That's going to be Flame Spear, yeah, in the middle. I don't think that's going to lose him too much either, though. Let's see, how many did Nick get? No, Nick only got 2. Okay, well, I keep underestimating Flame Spear. Flame Spear is pretty good, guys. Lose a lot of activations because of Flame Spear. Yeah, this is Nick's now, though. That because there's no way. Yeah, only gets 2 again, and now Nick's gonna get 5. He can't bring him down to 2 again. So he's behind already, and there's no way he can do as much damage with these 2 activations as Nick can do with 5. So yeah, just looting because it's over. Apparently time ran out. Yep. Okay, 1 more match left in the league. Yeah, let's go ahead and do a skirmish. I can retreat if it's taking too long. I like how I clicked it even when I beat. Okay, very good. This will be over this turn. Yeah, I think Claudia once said that what's it called? Perimeter license was useless because he would want one that did the exact opposite. I actually disagree. The battles are much faster when only 1 joins. Hellflamesgate versus Agarth, and Sun Tzu versus Nick. I know Sun Tzu, he's not very good. Or at least he wasn't when I last saw him. He's changed main, and it's been like a year, so maybe he is. But he wasn't any good when I last saw him, and he's only 139, I think. Is he on my friends list? No, he's only 139, so he doesn't have a chance against Nick. So we're gonna watch Hellflamesgate versus Agarth. Yeah. So 2 people we've already seen. Agarth with that weird tankless formation, and Hellflamesgate with a very tank-heavy formation, a sword main. I would favor Agarth from this just because he showed good play in the last match, and he's presumably higher might, or at any rate tier 0, and has more leveled mercs. Everything's in Pegasus, and Hellflamesgate has 2 or 3 mercs and evil gear. So I would favor Agarth here, definitely. And it looks like he's already gotten a much better opening. I don't know how Hellflamesgate has completely failed to do anything so far. Was he AFK the first turn? That did nothing. Patriot passive healed that. Jesus Christ, talk about a might difference. He can't even spike the front row staff. The Patriot passive heals it. That's kind of nuts. Yeah. Different, more HG from Hellflamesgate. He's gonna be glad that he has that against Flame Spear. I think that was part of the reason that Agarth lost to Nick, because he had no HG other than the Ocean's Blessing, which only lasts 1 turn. Hellflamesgate going for Flame Sword on the Druid instead of a Hellflame. I think I like that choice, actually. because a Hellflame would have been dispelled this turn anyway, so it probably would have done about the same amount of damage to the Druid. Probably more, actually, but that would have taken another activation. And then it wouldn't have done anything to the Elementalist, because that's staff, and he would have just healed this line and then Ocean Blessing. So I like that, saving the Hellflame for later. Gonna wait for Agarth to move two things he wants to Hellflame into the same column and not HG properly. Which is probably not going to happen, but just the pressure of not being able to do that limits Agarth's options more. And that's the reason I really like Hellflame, is that it operates on the Exorcist principle. You know, just by being there, it changes what your enemy does, because they have to, that they can't let you get a great one, so they have to. It limits what they can do, basically, without it having to do anything. You can just sit there and guard with the shaman all day, and they won't behave the same way as they would if you were sitting there guarding with an oracle. But, with that said, it doesn't really help if you are at a tremendous might disadvantage and getting your ass kicked. Now we see the Hellflame on the two high MDef characters in the back. No Hellsgate. You Hellflame the Druid. No. That's not going to do anything. He could leave that Hellflame there and nothing would happen. And he is going to leave it there. He just Dawn Harmonies that line, which he would want to do anyway because the Druid is being spiked, as it should be. But that Hellflame was a complete waste, and Weapon Rend wore off, so it's not even. Yeah, it does nothing. You can't Hellflame spike an Elementalist. Hellsgate, this isn't CL. Actually, what was it? Was it like a Thebes final or something, where someone tried to? It was back when there was still the occasional witch, and someone tried to Hellflame spike like witch and monk, and I think they actually got it, but it's not going to work here because Weapon Rend wore off, and an Elementalist is not a witch, and we had Dawn Harmony on it. Yeah, it's just not going to work. That probably cost Hellsgate whatever chance he had, because that was a lot of two activations, and then probably it changed others that he would have done differently to get that set up. Yeah, I would have just kept up with the flame sword on the Druid, unless a better opportunity presented itself. Maybe wait for the Druid to move back, and then, but you still would have caught the Roro. Yeah, Hellflame really isn't that great against Agarth's form. He's not even really taking it into account much anymore. He was kind of afraid of it in the beginning. I thought maybe, but now he's just whatever, because it was used so ineffectively over here. I mean, you can't even tell that there was a Hellflame there. That was just like, oh, a vampire attacked it once or twice. Yeah. This is over. I mean, it was kind of over to begin with, but definitely over now. That Hellflame did nothing. Basically, the rule of thumb is that every attack that you do should do more than just damage. It should also force your enemy to do something that they don't want to do, whether that's awaken, or whether it's move a mercenary, or whether it's, you know, cast Holy Guard or heal or something. It can't just do damage, because that's pure AoE, and you know, pure AoE gets to like Division 3 and then can't get any higher. With something of an exception in CL, because AoE damage is greater there, but and people are bad in CL, but Yeah, that Hellflame was just damage and not very much of it. Normally, Hellflame is a threat because it is so much damage and it can punch a hole in the formation and it forces an HG and a heal usually, and but that didn't force anything. It he got a heal and he would have done that heal anyway. he the Elementalist will die probably unless he heals it again. There's really no reason for him to because the Druid's dead and the other two, well, the three melees, but two of them are almost dead and he's about to kill. Actually, that Spartan probably won't die from DOT. Yeah, the Spartan's gonna live. The Valk's gonna live too. But I mean, he doesn't need the Elementalist anymore. So Hellsgate's probably gonna kill it just because that's the only thing he can do. Actually, I don't even think he can kill it. He's gonna try, but not gonna get it. Yeah, and it wouldn't matter even if he did lose it. So way too little, way too late on that Elementalist spike. Placing Earth just for lulls, that's just to damage the main. Doesn't matter. At this point, Agarth could win on AB. Yeah, that's a pretty serious statement. Yeah, just gonna spike the Elementalist. I would just go for the Druid and try to loot Wrath Eater at this point. Which is pretty much what Hellsgate's doing. But the Elementalist spike is pointless. It doesn't matter if you kill the Elementalist, Hellsgate. Just stop trying to be a hero. You're not gonna win. The only way you win now is if Agarth DCs, and that has nothing to do with whether you spike the Elementalist. Just loot Wrath Eater and say GG. But yeah, I don't really know what Hellsgate should have done differently. That was obviously a mistake with the Hellflame over here, but there was really never an opportunity for him to use it. So I maybe just wouldn't have. Actually, here, right here, is where he should have used Hellflame. When this situation naturally arose, he should have used Hellflame. So he should have saved it for then. Played more defensively until then. But that probably still wouldn't have helped because his Druid would almost certainly have still been dead by then. Because with Hellflame you need to conserve the things that work on line break, because that's what Hellflame gets you if it's successful, is line break. So you need to have a Druid or an Empress or a Taoist or something that takes advantage of line break left. And that's the end of that FL, so I guess that's the end of this episode. I'll try to do, I may try to do Grand tonight. I don't know if that's going to work or not. We'll see. I'll probably do those like individually as individual videos, and I may do them one with live commentary and one with post commentary where I analyze it and like pause it and talk about it. I don't know. I'll see what I can do.